welcome to the final preview show of the 2020-2021 season. It's been a hell of a season, and we've got one more game to look back at today before we look ahead to our final game of the season. And for the first time since 2013, we have a last day decider, which is going to be hell, probably. Excuse me. We have the usual gang. Mick is with us. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
And Benjamin is below.
Hello.
First of all, how are the nerves?
I'm not happy. I'm not. I have to be honest. I'm struggling a bit to concentrate on anything else at the minute, which is ridiculous at my age. But it's just too much. It's too much.
Yeah. Ben?
I mean, I'm fine, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I've tried to keep a cool head throughout the whole season, wins, losses, and I think that's probably benefited me right now because I've still got a cool head. If we go down, we are in the best position out of anybody in League One. We are in the best position out of anybody below the Premier League, financial-wise, club-wise, run-wise, I think, club run-wise. Listen, we can't play the game for them. So all we can do is just sit and hope, and if it don't work out, it don't work out.
I think that's what makes me more nervous. This happened when we played Aldershot in 2013. I got married that summer, and I was much more nervous about the Aldershot game than the wedding because I couldn't control the Aldershot game. It was completely beyond my control. I couldn't do anything about it, whereas the wedding, you're basically in control of it. And I was so much more nervous for that game. And it's the same for this one. Do you know, because and times that by 10 because we're not sodding ground either. It just feels like I want to control it like everything else in life, but you just can't. There's nothing I can do about it except talk about it on here. So we're going to that. Hopefully that'll make me feel better. Hopefully it'll make you guys listening feel better as well. Until 2:30 on Saturday afternoon, I don't think we're feeling better. And if we go down, we certainly won't be feeling better by then. So,
I think a lot of it is just getting the pressure off now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No such thing as pressure.
Okay. There is the pressure is literally a thing, but anyway.
I don't think it's a thing.
Yeah, pressure is a physical thing. Yeah. Moving on. And we've got a game to talk about. A game before this one to talk about. It was a 0-0 draw midweek. It was a chance to sort of stamp our mark on this relegation fight. If we pick up a win against Luton, it would have put a massive amount of pressure on Derby. It would have killed Sheffield Wednesday's dreams. It just didn't quite fall for us, Ben. I thought we played quite well as an overall performance. The most important part of it was missing, weren't it?
Yeah. I don't know how many chances we won. Honestly, I think if we go down and the players will know this and Paul will know this, it's our fault. We've got one more last chance. How we've got that chance is beyond me. I think the players should be extremely grateful that we've got one more chance in this league. All three of us, I said on the thing last night, should be down. Listen, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. I'm genuinely really looking forward to it. But yesterday? Not yesterday. Because that's what you live for, innit? Pressure moments like this is why you support the game. If it were boring, I'd go and support. If I didn't like pressure, I'd go and support Chelsea, which I won't league this year. But you know what I mean. 10 years ago, I went to support Celtic. But the game on Tuesday was Crooks. I don't know. Crooks was amazing. You can see that's probably why we've not been playing as well. But it's just a relegation fight performance. Hit the post twice, missed a chance. Hit the post, missed a few chances. Listen, if we take our chances, we're in playoffs. I can say that hand on heart.
Yeah, probably. Well, Luton are. They clearly take their chances, Mick. Because although they weren't very good on the night, they still almost.
Oh, don't say that.
I know.
Yeah, I need to be careful what I say about Luton, don't I? Because I've had quite a bit of backlash from my live show chats
still
about them.
Coming in and all, mate.
Really? I missed that.
The problem with Twitter is, Mick, that I'm in charge of the Twitter account.
Yeah.
And you're the gobby one. So whenever we do these shows or live shows or podcasts, it's always you that comes out. Any controversial comments, other than fitness ones, come from you. Yeah. So I have to deal with the backlash.
I mean, it's not, I don't do it on purpose at all, obviously. Well, but you know, just for anybody who's listening who's not on social media, we did the live show after the game on at Luton the other night, and I made some comments about the fact that Luton were garbage, and the Luton Town podcast there is some context to that, by the way, before I start. But in true journalistic fashion, the Luton Town podcast have just clipped the bit of the podcast where I said they were crap, posted it on Twitter, and tried to make us look fools. But you know, whatever. Luton Town, the way they played against us the other night, are not a 12th place positioned side. It's as simple as that.
No, they are. Well, everyone else in the division. Everyone else in the division, they are.
Hang on.
Let me just rephrase that in exactly the way I've just phrased it. Luton Town, the way they played the other night, are not a 12th position side. Because if they were, they would have beaten us. They would have taken the chances that they had and not put them in the stand at the back of the goal. The context of it is that we did exactly the same. But we've been doing exactly the same for most of the season. They clearly haven't, which is why they're in the position that they're in. In terms of footballing quality, there's nothing to choose.
Wasn't on Tuesday, no.
No, and I'm sure when you look back across the season, the bulk of teams that we've played, with the exception of one or two, there's not a lot to choose in terms of ability on the pitch. It's all about taking those chances, and we're not. So I stand by what I said about Luton Town the other night in the context of Championship football and Championship clubs. They're garbage, but then so are we. You know, we are, because we're not taking our chances. They just play the same game that we play, the same type of football, but they've been more effective at it this season. Yeah, that's life, isn't it? So, yeah. Anyway, just in case, I can say it again if you want. Luton are garbage. Just clip that bit, put it on Twitter. Knock yourselves out, fellas.
Please don't reply, Luton fans, because I've got to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it.
I don't mean it. You know I don't mean it.
We've got more important things to worry about this week than Luton Town's getting sensitive about the way that they play football. We've got much more important things to worry about, guys, so just don't bother.
We need to deflect. Look, as Rotherham United supporters, we need to deflect that pressure just for another day or so. That's all we need to do, and then we can concentrate on our own team on Saturday. I'm winding you up. But in terms of the game, it generally could have gone either way, and I think we were the better team, marginally. I'm not saying we were good, but we were the better team. I think we dragged them down to our level. They tried to knock it back a little bit back at times, but the press. This is what we're good at. They tried to pass the ball. The press pushed them into going long. That's good. Yeah. That's what we try and do, innit? Yeah. Listen, we're just not. We're not there, are we? We're not the team that we were before this COVID outbreak. You know, if we were the team that were there on the run up to Christmas, I'm sure we'd be safe by now, because we were taking our chances. We were playing that really high pressing game. Excuse me, and playing it really, really well. But since we've had this run of fixtures, we've just not been in a position to do it. Injuries have not helped us as well. So, but the worrying part about it is that the lack of firepower now. That's gone, or has done over the last few games. That's not to say that Saturday's not going to be different. No,
I'm hoping we saved it up a bit, and then Saturday's going to be the day where it sort of all gets released, and it goes. Then our form is, well, there's obviously problems, but our form is 3 wins in the last 19 games, but with not many draws in there either. Only a couple of draws in there. So you don't have to go very far back in the season to sort of identify where the problem is.
No. It's exactly what I just said, isn't it? COVID did us.
Yeah.
Did us.
Well, Ben's shaking his head. Go on, Ben.
What did us is not taking our chances. I don't agree with this of COVID. I don't agree with getting sympathy. Listen, I said this before the live show, right? About Paul once said something about, what did he say, Matt?
What, the quote that I feel like he's saying directly at you? I don't. I've got it in there. It's something along the lines of if you're not sympathetic to the schedule we've had, then you don't understand the human body. It's something like that.
Well, I said I'd be sympathetic when everyone else starts losing games for us. But that's when I'll be sympathetic. The world doesn't stop. We've got to move on from this COVID outbreak, and I think that's unacceptable to use that as a reason as to where we are.
But we're not saying that COVID has ruined it. What we're saying is the knock-on effect of it.
I had an effect, but we're there because of bad performances.
Yeah, but why are the performances bad? The performances are bad because of what we've gone on about for the last, I don't know how many weeks. That you're like a flat earther, aren't you?
I'm not a flat earther.
You're like a flat earther. You won't accept that tiredness exists, that fatigue exists, both mental and physical.
I will. I accept it, but I've seen people play through it, and I don't get what the difference between one mind and another. There is no difference. So if one person can play through it, there's no reason why anyone else can't. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's. Hey, people are different, and that might be why they're in the Championship, not the Premier League. But people can play through it.
They can, but it's how long can you play through it, and to what level? It's not. I mean, I'm sure Smithy could play another 30 games this season. He could play. He'd be on the pitch, but he's not going to be as effective in game 30 as he was in game 1. You know what I mean? And that's the issue, and that's where we've had the problem. It's a cumulative effect over a period of time where tiredness and mental fatigue and everything else have set in, and they're not on the knees. They're not sort of gasping for air, but the level of performance has got to be affected. It's got to be affected. It doesn't matter how fit and how prepared you are. Once you cross over a certain point, your level starts to drop off. I don't know. You said it, Matt. I don't know whether it was on Monkeys or whether it was on our podcast or what. You likened it to an F1 car, and an F1 car is designed to travel at 210 miles an hour for 70 laps. If it has to do 75 laps, it's going to be doing 180 miles an hour. If it has to do 80 laps, it's going to be doing 150 miles an hour, because it's not designed and it's not trained and built to go over a set time scale. And footballers and sportsmen are trained to reach the peak at a certain time. And when you're asking them to reach the peak every 3 days, it's just not possible. You can't.
How come basketball players do it?
Because basketball's a different game. It's a completely different game. You've got roll on, roll off subs for a start, so they're not going to be playing for a full 90 minutes at full pelt for the whole of that period. They're playing for
full pelt.
Football's a very unique sport in terms of you've got, other than when there's an injury, it lasts 5 minutes. If you've got to be switched on for 90 minutes, assuming you play 90 minutes, you have to be switched on. If you're a striker, you have to be switched on to wherever the ball is at all times, because there's a chance to come at any point. If you're a defender, you've got to be switched on for 90 minutes. Goalkeepers, I know it looks an easy job, but you've got to be switched on for 90 minutes of the game, because one little mistake and you're done for. That doesn't happen. Rugby is quite a stop-start game. Basketball is, although it's quite a quick game, it's also quite a stop-start game. There's quite a lot of fouls. There's lots of roll-on, roll-off. Cricket and NFL, particularly, NFL's a good example of a sport that is ridiculously physically demanding, so physically demanding, but it's also very, very stop-start. So they're very short, sharp bursts. So you can have 30 seconds of this really, really intense action, but then you get a couple of minutes with a rest where you literally don't really have to think of it. If you need to breathe and take that minute, you can do that. You can't do that in football, or unless there is an injury, which are few and far between. In that sense, it's a very unique sport.
Oh yeah, like you said, you got to be switched on for 90 minutes. You got to be switched on for 46 games at season. Yeah, that's where you switch off at end of season.
Yeah.
It depends what type. It all comes down to what type of person you are, and that's why champions are champions. And
yeah. I've got. Listen, I agree with what you're saying, Ben. I do agree. There's a lot of truth in what you're saying. But I would also temper that with the fact that we've had this run which nobody else has had, and you've got Man United bleating on about having to play a few games, and it just makes me howl. It does. It makes me absolutely howl. They've got a squad of I don't know how many 40 player, whatever it is they've got. You know what I mean? They've got a massive squad that could walk all 4 games. They could probably play different players every game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be an exaggeration, but nevertheless, just bleating on about it for God's sake. And one of
the differences with them is that they play one of their 4 games they're complaining about is Roma, which they're 6-2 up in, so it doesn't matter. They're also not challenging for anything. They're not in title race, really. They're already secured Champions League. They're not fighting for anything. Every single one of our games we need to win. That's the difference. They've got no right to complain. Sodom.
Oh no! It's just funny.
Yeah.
It's just funny, isn't it? Really, but whatever.
That's why they're second in Premier League, not first.
Yeah, it is absolutely bang on. Well, that and the fact that they're not as good.
Yeah,
why aren't they as good? Though? Yeah, but why aren't they as good? Because they complain about they have to play 2 games in 10 days.
Tactically better. Anyway. Any final points on the Luton game? There's not really much to talk about, Ben. I'm still convinced that Matt Crooks header at the back post went in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we all celebrated. I am not one to celebrate. I don't. When people say shots from the edge of the box and everyone gives it. Oh, I don't do that. I just stood up and punched there. I thought it had gone in.
Yeah, I did.
And I thought, why is it not gone up?
Yeah.
Why is it not celebrated?
Yeah.
Just a whole week now or something, but yeah.
It was like that Sterling one for World Cup in 2014, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just not sure I didn't go in.
It's a shame Stuart Atwell weren't refereeing because he'd have get goal.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, the point is we might as well have lost the game in terms of a point. It really doesn't really make that much difference because we're still going to win. If we'd have lost the game, we'd have still had to win. If we drew in the game, we still have to win on Saturday. So
I don't see why. I don't see why we didn't all out.
I think we did as much as we could. We talked about this briefly, and this is moving on forward. Because George Hurst was injured, and you can say what you like about George Hurst, how good or bad he is. He's a different option. So if you haven't got a third striker, you can't start with 2 strikers, or you would struggle to start with 2 strikers, because you can't then change them. There is no change other than to be a defensive change by taking a striker off. I assume that's why he did it. Whether Saturday will be different, I don't know. But hands were a little bit tied because of the Hurst injury. But we should have brought in another striker in January, shouldn't we? That's our own fault again.
Yeah, maybe.
Or not let Vasco, or whatever.
Yeah.
A couple of good performances, though, Mick. Particularly, we talked about Matt Crooks. Ryan Giles was, if Crooks were man at match, Giles is not far off, or Giles should have been man at match, because that was one of his best all-round performances. I know we talk about his goals. Defensively and attacking, that was his best performance for me.
Yeah, it was outstanding. Really, really good. Defensively, he did his job. And maybe he's just a player that needs a run of games just to get himself into the swing of it. I don't know. But yeah, he was outstanding on his first name on team sheet on Saturday. No mistake. And he can offer us a lot going down that left. So yeah, really pleased. Really pleased. It's just, is it too little too late? That's the question. And again, I suppose somebody somewhere will argue that Warney should have had him in earlier and given him this run of games and blah, 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 But yeah, he played really, really well. And he's obviously a very good prospect, isn't he? So
yeah, and a shout out for Blackman again. He made a save in the first half, which pushed it onto the post, which was a foul. Were not given, and then the same thing happened in the second half, which they scored from, which was given as a foul. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have for the Luton game. So shall we move forward into?
Last thing we've got to say: if we stay up, it's because of Blackman.
It's cost many things, but yeah.
It's because of Blackman. We lose these last 2 games, the most important games of the season. We are down. We play Johansson, we're down. I say that. I can say that. If Johansson played the last 2 games, we're down. Johansson is not physical enough to make that save yesterday. Tuesday against
I don't
Spurs. They're being fouled.
Disagree.
We lose that game.
I
Janssen, I like you, Janssen. He's built like this. I love you, Janssen, to death, right?
Not built like they're just small.
I think the issue is he probably wouldn't have reached it. I think the fact that Jamal Blackman's 6'7" or whatever he is, I think that was the reason he managed to reach that, and possibly the same against Blackburn as well. That one that he pulled out at top corner, possibly. Yeah. But I have no issue with that. But I agree, he's been outstanding, Jamal Blackman, absolutely outstanding since he came back. So yeah.
Yes. Moving on. Saturday is the biggest game of the season because it's the last one and we're still in the fight. So it's time to get your lucky omens out. If you've got anything lucky, a lucky shirt, a lucky hat, lucky pants, lucky whatever, Saturday is the time to get them on. We have our own lucky mascot, don't we, Michael? If you remember. We have
yes,
Bestie.
Is there? Oh, Bestie.
Any YouTuber can see Bestie. The story behind Bestie is a little toy dog for any podcasters that my daughter had, and Mick brought it to the game with him when we the Warnock time, and it was the how I remember it was the Middlesbrough game where Freckleton scored at the 80-something minute, and then we decided it was our lucky charm, and then we kept bringing him, and then the 3-0 down to Derby, and Leon Best getting a couple of goals, so he's named after Leon Best, which is I don't think would probably happen very often. No. It wasn't popular wherever he went, Leon Best.
Not really.
And then came with us to MK Dons as well, where he had the very famous 4-0 win as well. So he's our lucky omen for Saturday.
He's your two.
Ben don't do lucky omens.
I don't do lucky superstitions. I'm living real life.
You don't know luck's not a real thing.
Luck is a real thing. It's not brought to you by it's placebo is what it is, which is I think that.
It's not placebo for me because I'm not having the
no, not for you. Not for
stop it! I'm doing something good.
You are doing something good, but if you're a player and you have a superstitious thing, then it's placebo. I understand why people do it. I have no problem with it. I understand it. I'm just telling you, I don't believe in that stuff.
So stop arguing with me then.
Yeah. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You're arguing about arguing. Anyway, so everybody out there, whatever lucky thing you've got, get it out because we need it. We desperately need it. So there's omens from this game that we're going to look forward to now. Cardiff away Saturday afternoon, 12:30 kickoff. Not live on Sky. It'll be iFollow. It'll be on because the Derby Wednesday game's on Sky. Don't know why. I've gone through some history today. I'm going to drip feed this in. Would you like, Mick, to start with some good omens or some bad omens?
Bad. Bad
omens, okay.
Get them out of that way.
We have not won on the final day of the season in the second tier since 1967-68.
Oh, if it had been 1966, it would have been game over, wouldn't it?
Well, the last time we did win on the final day of the season, we got relegated. So, okay. It's not a very good omen. But to counter that, the Sixers have been a good decade for us this season.
Yes,
we've had a couple of first-time wins since the '60s in there. So that's a bad omen, I'm afraid. Ben, thoughts on this weekend? It's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. What are your feelings going into it? Positive, negative? Think we're going to do it?
I'm fired up, me. I'd pay anything to play in that game. I'm fired up to go. I mean, I've got training, so I'm going to miss. I'm going to be second half. I'm going to be in live show. If you wonder why I'm wet through and muddy, it's because I've had training for 3 hours. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm fired up. It don't consume me like you two, but I'm ready to go. I want it. If we go down, I'm still going to be smiling. I'm still going to be positive because I know that we're going to dominate next year and actually win a lot of games.
I don't think you'll smile. But
either that, I'm going to get to have a go at some players who think they're bigger than club. But if some of them leave, if we go down,
if some of them leave,
I'm going to get ready. But yeah,
okay. Be warned, players.
Yeah, be one.
I'm not convinced that we've got anybody at our club at the moment who've got that kind of attitude, to be honest.
No.
I would have thought so. I would hope not, but
You don't know about the rumours going around about some declined contracts, but
yeah, there's always rumours, isn't there? There's always rumours. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
The last time we beat Cardiff in Cardiff, Mick, was August 1998, which was a promotion. No, it was the playoff defeat season. We ended up losing the playoffs that year. More recently, their recent form's pretty good. They won their last 2, unbeaten in 5. Their last defeat was to Sheffield Wednesday, and that was a 5-0 spanking. So, on paper, you don't want to play Cardiff, but only 6 games ago, they got hammered by currently the second worst team in the division. So it's not all bad, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. The worry is, and I talked earlier on today, I was hoping that Cardiff had got absolutely nothing to play for, but if they get a victory on Saturday and Reading lose, it puts them into 7th, which is obviously a little bit more money for them, and it's that kudos of finishing one place outside playoffs as well. Also, if they lose and the team below them, who I can't remember who it is now, do manage to win, then they drop down a place. So they have got a little bit to play for, albeit it's cash in it. Finishing whatever position, finish 7th, you get more than 8th. So they're not going to wave white flag anyway. I wish they would, but they won't. We don't really want them to. We want to just get on there, and we've just got to get in there and blow them away. We're capable of doing it. I feel we were very, very unlucky to lose to them at our place. Very unlucky. For me, that's one of the games where refereeing cost us. Without a doubt, it cost us, in my view. Ben won't agree, I'm sure, but it did. So we know what we're going to get. It's Mick McCarthy's side. They're going to be big. They're going to be strong. They're going to be physical. They're going to bully you. We're up for that.
If that's Christmas. A game that means something that they're going to bring it to you physically. That is, what more do you want?
Well, not only that,
down or not, what more do you want?
Precisely, and not only that, you've got a Premier League referee, and he's used to refereeing players who just fall over every time a bird flies across top at stadium. You know what I mean? And giving the free kicks for it as well. So I suspect it's going to be a very stop-start game. I don't think there's going to be any flow to it at all. The ball's going to be in air quite a lot. But maybe that'll suit us with the lack of composure that we've had over the last few weeks. For it to be stop-start, I don't know. It's not going to be pretty.
I mean, what you've just described is American football, stop-start, physical, ball in air for a long time. That's my sport.
Yeah.
Listen, if it's games like that, I'm going to be smiling whether we go down or not. That's what, if it's a physical game and it's football, English football, I know that's very stereotypical old man, but if it's English football, League Championship English football, then I can't wait.
Bring it on. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We lose. We win. We've had a game of football, not whatever this new sport is.
When we played it, I've not touched on when we played at our place, Mick, but let's take away the penalty decisions, which 3 of them there were. We were unlucky not to win. The goal they scored was from a massive lapse in concentration from, I think, Clark Robertson, who just stepped out of position. Other than that, we did genuinely absolutely batter them from what I recall of the game.
Well, we deserve to get something out of it, as we've done for many games this season.
Well, yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. I'm putting that defeat down to refereeing.
Okay.
I am.
That's fair enough.
The bulk of the defeats this season have been down of our own making, I accept, but some haven't. And you're not going to convince me otherwise.
No, probably
so
not.
Don't try.
No.
Ben.
Mix and match today. So we're going to do ref watch now before moving to some more stuff today. Both relegation games have been given Premier League referees. Derby against Sheffield Wednesday has been given Mr. Spotlight himself, Mike Dean. So expect some yellow cards in that game. We have been given Graham Scott, who is a Premier League referee. Plenty of referee games is pretty well respected. I think he's done okay in the Premier League. The last time he refereed, he was refereed on a couple of notable occasions. He refereed us in against Everton, not this season, but last time we played him in the Carabao Cup. Last season? No, 2 years ago in Championship. Yeah. He was also the referee when we played Doncaster, when it finished 1-1, when Keith Moore scored in the 97th minute or whatever it was. It's a mixed bag in terms of that he's not had any red cards for or against us, a couple of penalties here and there, nothing significant. It clearly shows, Ben, that the EFL have realised this is the only fight, so they've put, I assume, are the two available Premier League referees and given them to the important games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I've not got Mike Dean. I love Mike Dean as a person. I love watching him ref because he's funny. He's hilarious sometimes. But, yeah, I don't want him refing Mike Dean. No. I like him as a man. I don't like him as a referee. But, yeah, listen, I don't know how many times I've got to say this. I think the referee, talk about referees actually, I think the referee is going to be good. Graham Scott, you showed me a picture. I don't remember seeing him in any controversial decisions. Not that I can remember anyway. I might be wrong. But I don't know the name, so that's a good sign, I think.
There's only one that springs to mind with Mr. Scott, and that was a VAR decision where I think it was a Villa game where a player had gone down, and
Villa going down.
Yeah, it was. I think it might have been Villa Spurs. I can't remember, and it was never a foul. It was never a foul, but the VAR, and he didn't give the foul. And VAR, I think I'm right with this. VAR checked it and said you better go and check monitor. Checking for a red card, basically. Go and check the monitor. So he went and checked the monitor and told VAR to get stuffed. It weren't a foul. So he's obviously a man who knows what he likes. Yeah. So or he's got the courage of his convictions to stand by his decisions. But that if his decision's wrong in the first place, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, look at that. Look at that melt that refereed our game against Barnsley.
Yeah.
He had the courage to stand behind that decision, didn't
he? Yeah. Well, the EFL had no other choice, but yeah.
No, you're thinking Darren Bond.
No, you're thinking Darren Bond, which was another one, But anyway, that's by the by. But those are another two games where we lost points because of referees. I'm sticking with that and all.
Not the two missed chances from 6-yard line.
That has just been icing on cake, mate.
Yeah. Some good omens, Ben. I fancy some good omens.
You keep saying that. What does that even mean?
Good sign, good history. Something that points in a positive direction. Now you know what it means. Would you like a good omen for Saturday?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. The last 3 times that we have had a last day decider, they have all gone in our favour. 2013, we won promotion against Aldershot. In 2006, we drew 0-0 with MK Dons to survive in the League One. And I forgot to write down the year, but it was something like 91-92. We won on the final day to go up. I think that was that year. Again, I've not written that down. I should have done. But the last three last day deciders have all gone our way. Before that, they didn't. So, Ben, it's a positive, isn't it?
I mean, yeah.
Yes, Ben, it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say, I don't believe in them kind of stats. I don't know how they make sense. It's a good thing for thingy, but it doesn't mean anything.
You say it doesn't mean anything, but how many times does football does work that way? And it shouldn't, and it doesn't make any sense. But somehow football, it's like that. Donny, it's like when we played Donny that season. The fact that we scored in 97th minute in one game to draw, and the next game we played them, we scored in the 90th and then 90 plus 12. That didn't make any sense, but football just has that way of doing these stupid little things. That's why it's important to look at this. We might lose 6-0 on Saturday, but
I suppose. I mean, it did make sense. Devin Ferguson, the time wasting git, spent off his time or whatever. He deserved that, but yeah. No, we're Devin Ferguson.
He got manager, but it was Coppinger that took so long to come off pitch to get subbed off.
Yeah, Ferguson have told him. I've got personal dislike with Ferguson.
You do like a bit of football symmetry, don't you, Matt?
I love football enthusiasm. It does, it just does. It doesn't make any sense, but it's just fantastic when it just happens.
It's Football Manager is what it is. He's a Football Manager fan there.
Well,
inbox.
But these things happen in real life football, and it's just, I just love it. I love it when it happens, as long as it's in our favour.
Yeah,
who doesn't?
So, how do we think we're going to line up, Mick? The team news is that Angus MacDonald should be fit. He probably would have been fit for Tuesday, but for me, he did the right thing by not risking him because we've got this game's bigger than Tuesday, although Tuesday was obviously a big game. So you would expect to see a back three back to normal. After that, what do you do? Do you keep Sunday in? Do you keep Harden in? We'll start with you. What's your starting 11? And then me and Ben will tweak it.
I'm going with Jamal Blackman keeps his position in goal without a doubt. I'm going for the back three of McDonald, Wood, and Icky. I'm going to have Ryan Giles left wing back. I'm going to have Wes Harding right wing back. I'm going to go in the midfield. I'm going to have Matt Crooks, Lewis Wing. And then I'm kind of struggling a little bit. Ben Wiles has been so off it. I'm not going to start Ben Wiles, or I wouldn't start Ben Wiles. Were I the manager, which I'm not. Before Ben says anything about the way I'm talking, I want Chio on pitch.
Yeah.
I want Chio on there, and so I'm struggling a little bit. Smith is going to go up front. I don't even know whether I'm going to start with Freddie and just go hell for leather, just go for it, or whether I bring him on as an impact. I don't know. That's where
it was brilliant when he came on the other night. He caused him so many. And that's brief spell. Chio came on. Chio, brilliant.
Yeah, it was, and we need him on there. We need him on there probably a little bit longer than he got the other night. So it's whether I don't think Freddie starts for me. So maybe Chio sits in behind or drops into midfield with Crooksy behind. I don't know. And maybe this is a game for Jamie Lindsay, with that physical presence. It's a bit of a headache for him because he's got to strike a balance. He needs to be really, really positive. Positive. We need to be finishing that game. Unless we're 3-0 up, we need to be finishing that game with 5 strikers or 5 up front, whether they're strikers or otherwise. If it's 0-0 on 85 minutes, I want to see Woody, Icky and McDonald playing up front alongside Smithy, Ogbenny, Wing, Wiles, Blackman.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, Ben, do you agree with the back 6 there? 5 defenders and keeper?
Is Matic fit?
Possibly.
I go 4-3-3. I go Matic, Wood, Icky, Harding, Wing, Barlaser, Crooks, Gio, Smith, Giles. When I went 4-3-3 against Luton, we were Gio were class. Giles were class. I go 4-3-3, we lose, we win, we stay up. We can't play 5-3-2 or defend for 60 minutes. No. I want to score. I want to win 5-0. Like Wednesday won 5-0, why can't we win 6?
Yeah, okay. So it's a fair point, to be honest.
Yeah.
They've clearly got defensive issues.
I suppose, but we're not conceded from basic. I know you can call the Angus MacDonald a basic mistake, but it was just one of those things. It wasn't a defensive unit problem. Obviously, the Brentford one was. But and Luton, other than when they hit the post and Wes Harding had one moment, they're all individual errors, aren't they? So defensive as a unit is fine. I would be tempted not to change that. 5 at the back is not a defensive setup, and that's what I think people get hooked. I'm not. You didn't honestly because you mentioned this then, Ben. But a lot of people get hooked on, they're playing 5 at the back. That must be defensive. 5-3-2 is not a defensive formation.
It's 3 at back.
It's very attacking. Yeah, exactly. It's a very, very attacking formation. 5-3-2.
The problem I've got with playing 5 at back is we can't score playing it.
We did, didn't we? This is the thing we did.
What? Apart from set pieces, like recently.
That run we went on in January. The run we went in January, February, we played 3-5-2. And Crooks and Smith play well together.
You've got to change with times.
Yeah.
I've got a story for that, but I'm not going to go into that unless you want me to.
A story about what?
A little book. about you got to change with the times.
Go for it, mate.
Nah, basically, nah. About it's called. The book is called "Who Took My Cheese." Basically, saying you basically got to change with the times. There's two mouses, right? And they get fed cheese every day, and then one day it stops, and one cheese is like, I'm going to wait here until someone fixes
One
this
cheese.
and brings them. Yeah, cheese.
One mouse. One mouse.
Mouse. The mouse is because one mouse says, "I'm gonna stay here until someone fixes it," and the other one waits a few days and goes, "Nah, I'm gonna go out and find some more." Got to change with the times. You can't stick 5-3-2. I don't think it's working anymore. I think we've got Chio back. We've got Matuk coming back. Giles back. I know Wolves probably want us to play him left wing back. This one game, they'll understand. If we want to go 4-3-3, I'm sure they would understand. If they don't, they can have him back. Don't affect me. So I think that's my opinion, but I'm not gaffer, so it doesn't really matter what I think, does it?
No, that's true, but this is what we're here for to talk about. Then if we didn't talk about it, then
Yeah, be a very boring podcast.
it very would much be. I'd be tempted to 3-5-2, same. Still, 3-5-2, 5-3-2, whatever. But I'm in the same boat as Mick. In that, I think Chio's got to start. Is not. You can see he's back to the way he was. You know when I said other week he's back. Do you know what? He's back. He is back.
Yeah.
But he needs. The problem is where does he fit in? He doesn't. He is a square peg in a round hole in this formation. I was tempted to play him. I hadn't thought about it until you mentioned him. I'm very tempted to play him as a 10. But then you take it away from Crooks. Crooks were really good on Tuesday night in that 10 position. And then when he went to 4-3-3, he dropped off a little bit quieter because he had to. But he did drop a bit quieter. But then you can't play Chew in there. It's a tough one. Very tough.
Yeah, it is. It's not going to be an easy decision.
No.
But ultimately, it's about attack, isn't it? But if suppose for a minute there that you're lucky enough to get a couple of goals, you've then got to change your attitude. You've got to. You can't afford to keep going gung ho. Then at that point,
that's why I would play 4-3-3 because you do that. Matic can drop in at centre back. He's experienced enough. He's old enough, and he's got the pace to drop in, and he's got that experience. He played with Woody for what he played. I'm sure they played together at Wednesday.
Yeah.
They played together here, so they've got that chemistry. So that's what I think. Matic is crucial. I think he's been one of the most crucial players for the past 5 years for this club. So
yes.
If he's fit, obviously.
He's had about 2 years, hasn't he? He's had about 2 years, 18 months with injury, and I think people forget he was a very, very solid player. I'm not saying he's not Roberto Carlos, but he's very decent.
Yeah. I know many clubs that would kill for a solid left back 5 years. It's awful, but whatever.
Look how long we've been trying to replace Matuk for.
Yeah.
And we just haven't been able to do it. Giles right now is the closest thing we've got, but he's not a defender. That's left backs. It seems an old-fashioned problem, but left backs are very difficult to come around. And if you've got one that's steady enough, take it because he has got his moments of quality.
Balanced left backs. Because there's some now that play centre back, and then there's some that play, left wing. There's no balance. Matic's that balance for me.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to wrap that up because we have covered it as much as we can, I think. Ben, who is staying up?
Rotherham.
Okay, Mick, who is staying up?
I said it last night on the live thing we did with the Wednesday and Derby fans. I said Derby, and I still think it's going to be Derby. It'd be a travesty, an absolute travesty if they do.
I think Derby.
Then Jacob has fallen through again.
Oh, it's funny. That is so funny. We've got somebody coming along to buy a club, and what he wants to try and do is refinance the refinanced ground in order to fund the takeover. Wowzers. Wow. Tell me they don't deserve to go down, and that's not for the supporters. It's not for the supporters. I have no truck whatsoever with Derby fans. I feel sorry for them. I really, really do.
Yeah.
But the club itself deserves to go down, as do them down the road at Fowlerton, without a shadow of a doubt.
You think Derby are going to win?
I think they'll get a result. I think they'll get a draw, and I don't think we will. Or I don't think we will win. Is where I am. I think at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong. Anything I can do, I would do to make it happen. But I just can't see. I can just see Derby sneaking it.
Yeah, I can. And to paraphrase a famous poet, if there was any justice in the world, we would stay up. I don't think there is any justice in the world. But that's football. So, yeah, we are, this goes without saying, but we're going to say it anyway, we're massively behind the boys on Saturday.
Oh, God,
it would be a hell of an achievement to stay up. People can gaff all they want. If we stay up, this would be a fantastic achievement for them set of players. They've put everything in, week out, and all it needs is one last big effort. And if they can put in a big effort, even if they fall short, I'll still be proud of them because they've put everything in. You can question some performances, this, that, other, but they have put everything into it. Paul Warren, Richie Barker, Amshaw, Warrington, fitness coach, everybody else. They've put so much work in. Rob Scott, obviously recruitment guys. It's been a really good effort this season, a fantastic effort this season, and they deserve to stay up based on the effort they've put in. You don't always get what you deserve from that point of view. Well, I'm praying and hoping that we do it, and it feels like we've got the hope and prayers of the rest of the division as well. Hopefully that can get through and carry us through. Anything you two want to add?
Just the same as you. Absolutely, 100% behind them. Win, lose or draw. I was going to say win, lose or draw. I don't care. I do care. Clearly, I want a victory, and I'm confident. I'm confident that we are good enough to do it. I just don't think we've got enough left in the tank for it, and I don't blame anybody for that. I don't blame anybody at the club for that. That's just circumstances. But I hope I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong, because I will be the happiest man alive at 2:00, 2:30 on Saturday afternoon if I'm proved wrong. Yeah. God will I. It would just be fantastic. And you'll see how happy I am on live show if... They'll
be covered in beer. Ben? Final thoughts, Ben?
I ain't got to listen. They know the situation. To know the situation, I don't really need to say anymore. If this isn't one of the biggest days of your life as a career, as a footballer, then why'd you play football? Like, this is what you dream of, especially for Wilder, man. Like, you're a little kid scoring, keep your club up, get promoted, whatever. It's the same thing. It's what you dream of as a little kid. Like, I don't know what's more important than this.
Well, you're probably right. 10 years ago or whatever, Ben Wiles will have been running up that pitch at Stubbin with a green and white St Joseph shirt on, dreaming that one day he would be able to do this for Rotherham United. And now he can. He has got that opportunity. So you never know. It could be written in stars. Come on, Ben, lad.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Oh, it'd be just so sweet.
Now George Hurst can't score. Somebody's got to take up that mantle of being the one that's written in the stars to do it. So hopefully Wiles is the one. Or Wiles or Woody or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I honestly don't care. It could be anybody.
Jamal Blackman, 92nd minute header.
Wow, that would be so sweet. Do you know how I'd be, honestly, I don't know how I'd feel if he scored after everything he's gone through in his career. That'd be unreal.
Yeah.
That would be
Jimmy Glass moment, wouldn't it?
It'd be unreal.
I would be on social media trolling so many people if he did that.
That would be just what Luton fans have done to you, though.
I know it would. Yeah, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's big or clever. I'm just saying.
Childish.
I am.
So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, follow everywhere on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us on there. We will be back on Saturday morning through YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter with a live show. Around 11:30 is the aim for me and Mick. We're going to talk through the lineups. We'll talk about the Sheffield Wednesday and Derby lineups as well. We'll try and keep abreast of those as well. Then we'll be back at 3:00, something like that, after the game for the live post-match, where we will be just sat crying in each other's arms or celebrating. It'll be one or the other. because that's how it's going to go, unfortunately. Thank you all who have listened all season. We'll be back now to next week for one more episode of this season before we do some season reviews and whatnot. But we do appreciate everybody that's got involved. We've got some big changes coming up. From a podcast point of view, we've got some big changes coming up over the summer months. We're going to do much more work, much more content for you guys to see. We're going to get some more people involved. We've already got a few people who are getting involved. We've got a few players lined up. We've asked a couple of former players to go and talk to us who've said yes. It's a matter of confirming some dates and things like that. So even if it goes badly on Saturday, we will try and keep you going throughout the summer months with some positivity and some legendary Rotherham players. And I mean legendary Rotherham players.
Yeah, they say big names. It's not Dexter Blackstock coming. Big name.
Oh, is he cancelled?
Yeah, he might cancel. Bless. Can you imagine? Don't get beat. You think we can get Alan Stubbs on?
Wow.
No.
I don't think he'll go anywhere near Rotherham ever again.
No.
He'll get
everybody followed him on Twitter, didn't they? And nobody really tweeted him anything, and he just blocked all Rotherham fans that followed him on Twitter.
Yeah, if he ever comes to Rotherham, he'd get lynched.
Says all you need to know. Says all you need to know that he's not got another job. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So thank you all. Gone through this again, but thank you anyway, and we'll see you all on Saturday when it all goes down. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you all pretty soon.